Good afternoon. Welcome to my daily Facebook Live broadcast. My name is Barry Selby. Welcome. This is Messages for the Masculine number 122. And this is talking about rejection being the art of release. And I'll explain that in a moment. But before I do that, let me give you my quick introduction. Thanks for joining me, by the way. As always, I appreciate you being here and watching my broadcast. For those who don't know me, my name is Barry Selby. I am a best-selling author, speaker, and relationship attraction expert, helping strong, successful women find balance in love, life, and business. I'm a passionate champion of the divine feminine. Today's topic, however, is not necessarily just for women. It's actually for both genders, for everybody, in fact. And this topic is relevant from something that happened a couple of days ago, the conversation. And I want to speak to this because it ties into some of the work I've spoken about before. So thanks for joining me. Glad you're here. And I see some new people and some familiar faces. And by the way, if this topic is relevant to you or somebody you know, feel free to share this out with them even now while it's being recorded and on the replay as well. So rejection. It's such an interesting thing to talk about. I've had my fair share, I'll say that right off the bat. Certainly have been in my own journey of say this, understanding, accepting, and appreciating that experience hasn't always been easy, and sometimes it's been a great relief. So there's a spectrum of experiences, and I trust that you've had the same thing. But I want to speak to from a point of view of wholeness, and thank you, Honoruzo. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the comments. And by the way, this broadcast is, I'm doing this on Facebook Live, but you may be watching this on YouTube, so understand that there may be comments that I'll be responding to on the original broadcast that you may not see on YouTube. But I'll attempt to repeat the questions or the comments as I get to them. So remember that. So, presupposing, well, yeah, how to say this? Let me put some things in context. I'm sort of backing up, putting a piece. So backing up a second. I would venture to think that almost everybody's been through an experience of rejection. Projection, where'd that come from? That's a whole different topic. I'm not talking about projection this time. At least I don't think so. Rejection. It's an interesting experience to be on the receiving end of rejection, whether it's blatant or subtle, whether it's intended or unintentional, whether it's deeply personal or more global. We all experience rejection on some level. The opportunity we have is, how do we retreat that? How do we respond to that? How do we actually participate in the experience of being rejected without feeling rejected? And that's why I'll talk about release in a moment. So I'm just thinking I want to speak about any of my own personal experiences. I'm thinking I've got so many to choose from, and to be honest, I don't really want to speak about them necessarily because they don't seem to be that relevant. But I'll speak to it from this context. In my earlier days, as it were, when I was a lot younger, there was the experience I had of basically feeling like at certain times I would stop actually inviting or asking or reaching out to connect with women because I was getting rejected so many times. It was kind of like becoming gun shy. Wasn't a pretty time for me, to be honest. But I'm aware that at the time it wasn't pleasant. But looking back, I realized that in some ways, as I've said this before, I've dodged a bullet, because what I actually experienced was freedom, and had I actually got what I asked for, I may have lived to regret it. So if you've had experiences of rejection in the past, and maybe you're still carrying some weight on that, some energy on that, look back through clearer eyes. You may just see that you're actually better off for having been rejected than if you'd actually got what you thought you were asking for, because you may have actually paid a price. I have had experiences in jobs where I got turned down, which is a form of rejection, for a job, and actually got a better one the next one that came along. So I've definitely had experiences in different parts of my life where rejection was beneficial later on. The challenge with rejection is not taking it personally when it happens. And the way I was talking about this with a friend recently was about her son going through some issues with this girl he asked out, and she rejected him. I said, well, the reality with rejection is that truly, if you're asking for something you don't have, if you don't get it, you haven't lost anything because you're back where you started. And it sounds very banal to say it that way, very, very vanilla to say it that way, but the reality is that when you ask for something you don't have, if you don't get it, so what's wrong? The only rejection is what you take on personally. You're saying something's wrong with you if you didn't get what you wanted. But, and, the experience of being rejected isn't that person rejecting you, it's the feeling you carry of being rejected. Yeah, I'm playing big on this one. When you don't get what you want, do you call it rejection? Most people do, especially when it comes to a romantic or sexual possibility with a partner. And if they say no, you feel rejected. If you didn't have them before, and you still don't have them, nothing's changed. And they just said no. But then you carry this wound in you. Oh, I got rejected. Did you? So rejection is really a personal experience. It's really a perception of what's happened. It isn't necessarily reality. And that, frankly, is a very, how do I say this? That's a very interesting psychological experience when you choose to take on rejection as a personal wound when nothing, in fact, actually happened. You didn't have to change anything. From when before that you asked to the afterwards when nothing happened, you don't have to change anything about who you are. Now you're carrying the suffering of being rejected. Doesn't sound very effective. Or pleasant, to be honest. Not something emotionally rewarding, unless you want to feel like a victim. So tragic that you got rejected. Well, get over it. It doesn't have any weight. So, rejection really, I call it the art of release. It's releasing the crap that we tell ourselves that something's wrong with us. Because a lot of times when we get rejected, not only do we take on this imaginary state that wasn't true, but secondly, we judge ourselves as being less than, or unworthy, or not good enough, when none of the above is true. As I said earlier, there are experiences of being rejected where I look back and go, I'm actually grateful for what happened afterwards, because now I look back with clearer eyes, 20/20 hindsight, and I'm grateful for the fact I didn't get what I wanted. I wanted in quotes, because I didn't looking back, I don't want that now. Never would have wanted that had I seen more clearly. So it's a win-win in a way. Well, it's one way of putting it. But I want to make sure you get this point about rejection is such a challenging experience. Now, okay, sorry, I just had another piece come in. So I was just about to say one thing and I was like, I can't say that, it's not true. Rejection, when you are in a relationship, when you're in an experience of being rejected from something you already have, that's a different experience, and I'll speak to that in a moment. But the basic idea I want to plant really clearly is the first part is being rejected when you didn't get what you wanted is not rejection. It's simply a no. And you can take it as that if you truly want to and grow beyond the immaturity of feeling dejected, upset and hurt. Now the second part is if you're rejected from something you already had, relationship, an aspect of relationship, a job, whatever, if you're rejected from it then, or ejected in a way, that's a different story. And that's a whole different context, and I'm not sure if I want to go into detail here, because that can include things like grief, judgment, blame, resentment, a lot of other pieces of the puzzle. So for me, I think rejection really comes into its own when it's something you're attempting to have or get or be, and you don't get it. That's the rejection part. And having that experience of rejection is really a made-up experience, because, again, as I said, if you end up not getting what you didn't have in the first place, what have you lost? Nothing. The rejection is purely our own self-medicated pain to make us feel like we deserve better, or we should have had it and we didn't get it. It's not true. So let it go. The other part I'll talk about another time, the idea of being rejected. Let me say it this way. I don't think I don't think I would call it rejection if you lose something you're already having. Like if you're in a relationship and you get broken up with, or if you're in a job and you get fired. That's not rejection. If you take it as rejection, that's again self-medicated suffering. A large part of what I've discovered over the years, when I've been released from something that I had that I didn't want to be released from, I actually end up better off, or in a better condition, or a better situation afterwards than I did during. So maybe there's an upside all the time. If you don't have what you want and you ask for it and you don't get it, nothing's changed, nothing lost. Nothing gained, but nothing lost, so nothing to worry about, really. If you're in a position where you're let go of something or dumped or fired, holding to a place of, first of all, learning from what happened, and secondly, be willing to be open to a possibility of something even better coming along later, which does happen. I've experienced it myself. That's a blessing. So either way, rejection doesn't actually have to ruin your life. In fact, rejection shouldn't run let me say this again. Rejection shouldn't ruin your life. Let me be clear about that. I think that nails it on the head, as it were. Because that's the thing I was trying to say: is what is the bottom line truth, which this is. Rejection is really superfluous. You know what? I'm leaving it like that. I want your questions and comments below in the comments on this, because this is a topic that could actually upset some people in a good way, wake some people up, and give you some pause or some food for thought. What's your experience of rejection like? Can you reframe it from what I said into something much more holistic, much more positive, and much more freeing, so you can release it? That's the title. Rejection, the Art of Release. Consider yourself released, but I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions or comments, put them below, please. I'll respond in time below as well. But I want to sit with that. I want you to sit with that and consider that idea, because frankly, it could be a game changer for you if you really get to see the power of not taking rejection personally. All right, sit with that one for a while. Have a ponderance about those two ideas I presented. And if you're just joining the broadcast now, I'm signing off. But I'd love for you to go back and watch from the beginning, because I realized hitting a couple of things that might in fact change your life. Ooh. So, quick wrap up. My name is Barry Selby. This is a broadcast I do every day called Messages from the Masculine. This is number 122, as in there are 121 before this. I do this every day. If you haven't already watched my previous ones, feel free to go watch my other broadcasts on my business page, where I keep them stored away, as well as on YouTube channel under my name, Barry Selby. Also on my website, which is barryselby.com, and you go to the video blog there and watch them there. I'm here to help. And my reminder to you, independent of what I've already talked about in this broadcast, is take care of yourself, because you deserve the best. And this topic may just change/save your life. So let me know in the comments your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. And take care of yourselves. I'll be back again tomorrow. This is Sunday, so I'm actually going to head out for a bike ride before it's too dark. And I'll be back again tomorrow with number 123. I wonder what we'll talk about tomorrow. All right, I'll see you again later. Take care of yourselves and enjoy the fruits of this conversation. You might find some benefit. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.